So, very warm welcome to all of you. I hope all of you can see and hear me clearly. If the audio and the video is fine, please confirm before we begin the session. By the way, the session is about questions. As you can see, we are going to practice some questions which the type and the likes of which come very regularly in CAT, right? So as of now, there's nobody live. As and when anybody comes live, I would request everybody to quickly confirm whether you can see and hear me clearly. Things should be fine. If it is fine, well and good. Otherwise, I would request all of you to quickly confirm. Right. So this session is primarily going to be a question and answer based kind of a session. No, not much of theory. In any case, at this level, at this stage, what I'm expecting would be something like, we try relevant questions of the same level as it is likely to come in the exam, and the type would be, of course, the same, and we practice our skills therein. So that is what we would like to look at. So Arjun, hello. Looks like you are the only person live. Anyway, we will wait for some time. Not much of an issue, since it's a practice session kind of a question. I would like everybody to quickly confirm. Arjun, all clear, I think. Is the audio and the video clear? I think yes, right. So let's look at the first question. By the way, read the question. The direction is, this is something which occurs very frequently in the exam. All of you know it. You are supposed to identify the odd the sentence out. Now, let me tell you one mistake that a lot of people make. The mistake that a lot of people make is to try and build the exact sequence of the remaining sentences. That is not necessary. It will take more time. Sometimes you may not be able to find the exact sequence. You're not asked the exact sequence. You are supposed to find out which of the sentences do not, which one of the sentences do not connect, is not related to any of the remaining sentences in terms of theme. So do not waste your time in trying to find out the exact sequence. Of course, you can try to connect the sentences roughly, connect it roughly. There's no point in trying to find out the exact sequence. That will take time. So it's of course a cousin of parasembles. Try to look at the theme of the sentence. What all is it speaking about? Is it connected? And by the way, things like for instance will help you connect the sentence to the other one. When I say for instance, we know it's an example of a previous point. So all these things we will have to be looking at. Right, I hope all of you are reading the sentence. And as I was telling you, there's not much of a point in trying to connect the remaining sentences. Connect by all means, fine, but there's no need to find out the exact sequence. I hope all of you can read the sentences clearly, look at the theme of the overall theme of the sentence and see how it goes. And I'm telling you again, there's no need to find out the exact sequence. Exact sequence may not be necessary, right? That will take more time. Sometimes it may not be possible also. Now you will have a confusion between two sentences, and I can easily, I'll give you a clue, right? You will definitely have, doubts as to whether 5 is the answer or is 4 the answer. 1, 2, and 3 you can at least connect. So Harish is saying the answer is 4. So Harish seems to have no confusion. What about the rest? Well, let's see. Harish, the answer, according to Harish, the answer is 4. So what is the problem? What is the actual answer? The actual answer, only one person has responded so far. In any case, the best answer is 4. So Harish, you are correct, right? Now, the point here is, when I say the latest research on how this extreme coddling basically means treating with a lot of love, with a lot of extra love. If you look at the remaining sentences are not always about helicopter parenting, is not always about coddling or treating the child with extra affection or extra love. It is about hovering above the child like a helicopter, supervising every step. So that way, the best answer is 4. I hope everybody got the point. The whole concept revolves around the answer, revolves around the meaning. The answer revolves around the meaning of the word coddling. Coddling is treating with a lot of respect and a lot of, not respect, treating with a lot of extra affection and extra love. So I hope this is clear. So the best answer here is 4. Let's try another one. So there are 4 questions like this. This is the next one. There are 5 sentences. You have to find out, for those who did not read the directions, let me tell you, you are supposed to find out the odd sentence. Which sentence is different from the others in terms of its theme, in terms of the subject matter that it discusses, in terms of the content. Let's see. I hope everybody is reading it, right? By the way, this question is not very difficult. It's not very confusing. If you read a little bit between the lines, you should be able to arrive at the answer. Well, probably, let me give you a clue. Sonam thinks the answer to this question is 4. I hope, Sonam, you're answering. Your answer is to the question, the second question. What about the others? Very few responses. In any case, I hope everybody is able to understand. If you look at the sentence, if you look at the whole sequence, the best answer here is 4. What is it? Let's see. You are actually, the primary focus of all the sentences would be how the cells work, and you are comparing the cells with engines. All right, we're looking at, it's almost like, you're comparing it with engines, motor engines, but the focus is on the cells. Fourth sentence, the engines in this case are springs or ratchets. These are not at all connected to cells. So the best answer is 4. So fourth sentence focuses on the machines or the motor engines. The focus is on cells. Of course, you compare it with cars, with motor engines, but the focus should be definitely on the cells. So the best answer here is 4. So Sonam and Arjun both got the correct answer. I hope everybody understood. Let's look at the next question. The next question is again the same. We are looking at what is the odd sentence. And if you notice, these questions, Jay is saying, you have taught me in Galgotias University. Jay, you are correct. I was there for 3.5 years. Sometime that was, I think, 2015, 14, 15, or 15 to 17. I'm not really sure. Do not remember the exact year, but yes, you are correct. I taught in Galgotias for 3.5 years, around 3 years. Okay, so some people have started giving the answer, right? Okay, let's see. What is the point? If you notice, that might come as a surprise. What might come as a surprise? The fact that fewer than 1 in 5. So it is surprising. So 1 and 5 can be connected. So 1 and 4 can be connected. So 1 and 4 cannot be the answer, right? Now, if you notice, it has been in the spotlight lately, right? Being in the spotlight, the example of this is 5. So this also cannot be the answer. Another moment which describes this being in the spotlight is basically 2. So the only thing which is left is 3. So the best answer is 3. So I think I'm not really sure about the probably Arjun got the answer correct, right? Others, I would, ask you to be a little bit more careful, right? So if you notice, Arjun, the answer cannot be two. The answer cannot be two because this another defining moment. This is in continuation of what is given in 5, right? So women's, highlighting women's rights, which was under threat. Another moment was this. So 5 and 2 are connected. So neither 5 nor 2 can be the answer. And 4 and 1 are also connected. So this gives you a very good clue as to how the answer will have to be 3. Is everybody clear with this? I hope so. So this was the third question. I hope everybody is getting the answer correct, right? As I was telling you, it is about roughly connecting the sentences. The exact sequence you may not require. What is important is what comes out as the one, which is the odd sentence. Clear, I think. Let's move on to the next question. This question is a little bit lengthy, and by the way, there is a number missing here. This sentence is 3. Abhishek Mishra, I hope you got the answer to the previous question. You understood it, right? 2 could not be the answer. 2 cannot be the answer because it was connected to another sentence, right? So it's about connecting the sentences and finding out what is the odd sentence. Okay, let's see. This coffee analogy, you can actually connect it to another sentence, right? This question, I think everybody should be able to more or less connect it. If you notice, it is about the culture. It is about the culture, the artistic bent of this particular. So the musical and cultural supremacy of the city Vienna is what we're talking about, right? And the coffee analogy is something which you can connect with 4. So 3 and 4 cannot be the answer. So what should be the best answer? Let's see. Nobody is responding. I hope everybody is getting it correct, right? 3 and 4 cannot be the answer. Now, if you notice, even 2 is somehow connected, so this cannot be the answer. The best answer here is 5, because you are speaking about it re-emerged as an important site for trade. Trade is what we are not concerned about. We are speaking about the musical and cultural side of this particular city called Vienna. So I hope everybody got the answer correct, right? So very few responses. It's getting slightly late in the night, but then that should not be much of a factor. I hope everybody understood the best answer is 5, right? The important site for trade. The trade is not at all the focus. Though we are speaking about the entire, we are speaking about the same city, the answer is 5, because it speaks about trade. The other sentences are about cultural and musical. So music is in fact a part of culture, right? So odd questions, as I told you, odd sentence questions, 2 or 3 of them, right? The strategy is very simple. Do not try to look for the exact sequence of the remaining sentences. Connect them roughly. Look at the theme, the overall idea that it conveys, and find out the sentence which does not convey the same idea or conveys something else, right? So let's move on to another type. This type is a little bit confusing, right? This is what you call, the sentences, they have been given numbers, right? So you have to decide on the proper order, and the sequence is what you have to type in. Now this type of question is peculiar to CAT, right? Of course, it has been coming for a long time in banking exams, right? But in MBA entrance exam, this question has been very regular only in CAT. This will take some time, do not worry. There are 4 questions. I hope you will be able to make the connections, right? Look for transition words like this, right? Look for, what is this, it. I hope all of you are able to connect it. I will show you the answer in a very quick, in a few seconds. In the meantime, let me tell you these questions. There's nothing wrong if you try, if you attempt them in around 1.5 minutes, around 1.5 to 2 minutes, perfectly fine. 2 minutes maximum, probably 1.5. I hope all of you are attempting it. I think, well, this question, it takes, these type of questions will take some amount of time, right? Another 20 seconds, and then we will quickly discuss the answer. What are the connections? Try to find out. In such sentences, you should actually try to find out the first connection and build the remaining sentences around it. Let's see, the best answer is 2, 1, 4, 3. Right now, if you notice, the first link, right, that we can think of is, the relation between 4 and 3. To win its war against Americans, this is what I found. In fact, you could have found another answer, that's another link, right? But the first relation which I found was 4 and 3, right? And by the way, when we speak about this its war, this 4 is basically about what we are speaking about in COVID. So 1 cannot come after 4 and 3. So 1, 4, 3 is one link, right? COVID, it, and if you notice, there are two it's there, right? So which one will come first after 1? That is the question. So 1 will be there. After that, is it 3, 4 or 4, 3? If you read a little bit more carefully, 4, 3 makes more sense. Why? When you look at 3, it is cleverer. It will get trapped in just a few hosts, and among any otherwise victorious and healthy nation of about 300, it is cleverer by being less lethal, right? So it tells you about the danger, right? And 3, uh, 3 tells you about how it is cleverer, so it speaks in the same tone, right? So 4 and 3 is one clue. Now the only thing left now is 2, right? So there's not now there are two options. You can place 2 here, or you can place it here. The better way would be to place it in the beginning, so the best answer is 2, 1, 4, 3. Slightly confusing, I agree, but yes, this is the type of question which comes in the exam. Now what is important is, if you cannot decide on the actual sequence, what is important here is, even if you get the position of one sentence wrong, you will get the entire answer wrong. So, but yes, it is likely to give you no negative marking, so there's nothing wrong in attempting it. So let's try the next question. So what you're supposed to look at here is the actual sequence. Look at connections like these costs. What will be the costs that you're speaking about? So Abhishek thinks the answer is okay. Abhishek, the answer to your question was the previous one. I hope you got the answer correct. Let me show you the answer again. The best answer was 2143. You got 143, but you got the placement of 2 wrong. So that is what we have to be slightly careful about. Let's look at the next one though. What should be the best answer? Around 30 seconds would be required. Then I will show you the answer, and we'll also look at the connection, between the sentences. As I was telling you, first try to find out the relation between at least 2 sentences and try to build the remaining sentences around it, almost like a jigsaw puzzle. Hope you have got the answer. The answer is 32145, right? So if you notice the connection, the social cost of theft is that both the thief and the potential victim. So the example of what is given in 3 is given in 2 and in 1, right? So after that, if I say these costs are in fact it's a summary of what is given in 3, 2 and 1. And in fact, if you look at 4, these costs may escalate as a type of technological arms race unfolds, right? Now, in fact, in 5, a bank may purchase more and more complicated, so this is basically something which comes later on. So the best answer to this question is 32145. As I was telling everybody, even if you get one sequence wrong, you are likely to get it wrong. So be very careful about the entire sequence. And the good news is that in the exam it comes without negative marking. So make sure that you do not spend unnecessary lot of time on that. Well, even if you get one sequence wrong, you will get it wrong. Right. So I hope everybody got the point. Right. So the cost of theft, both the thief and the potential victim. So that is what you find. The 3 and 2 is in 2 you speak about both the parties, right? And this is almost like a reiteration of the fact. So 3 to 1 is definitely there, right? And both parties use capital and labor. This would definitely speak about the cost. So 3214 is the correct sequence. What is left is 5. So 5 is something which you cannot keep in the beginning, keep it in the end. So that is basically the best approach. Let's look at another question. So again, in this question we are going to look at the sequence. This point is of great importance. What is this point? Look at clues like this. And when you said thus, this question is there's a slide, there's a printing mistake. Leave this question. Let's try the next one. The 7th question had there was a slight mistake there. So let's look at the 8th one. I hope everybody is reading it. Take time, no issues. You can take 1.5 minutes, right? So this is how it should be. Right. So I hope everybody is able to make sense of this question. Right. Uh, is there any word which you do not understand? Probably this word solipsis theory. Right. Solipsism is basically a theory which a philosophy which says that whatever exists outside the human mind is unsure. So it is something which is that what is there in your mind, what you perceive, your idea, what you conceptualize, that is concrete, but whatever is outside is not, whatever is outside it is not sure. So that is solipsism as a philosophy, right? And by the way, the meaning of this word is, in fact, the clue is given in the sentence itself, right? So Johnson challenged this solipsis theory by kicking a large stone. So I mean, the stone is outside, it's there, definitely there outside you. So even if it may not be there in your mind, you may not have conceptualized it, but still you can, it's definitely real. So what should be the best answer? Right. I I think Harish has given the answer. Let me quickly confirm. Harish, 4-3. In fact, you went wrong in the position of the statement one. So look at four, right? Uh, 4 is in fact something which tells you about the requirement, right? And if you look at 3, he was a pioneer who raised common sense to heights of genius, right? So Samuel Johnson is introduced here, right? And after that, if you look at it, 3, the first clue which I got was 3 and 3 followed by 5 followed by 1, right? And then 2. In fact, 3 will have to come before all these sentences, because in 3 you speak about the person who you introduce the person, in fact, and the entire, the name is mentioned, like, in full, right? So he was a pioneer, right? So how was he a pioneer, right? So the Johnson, it in fact defines who is this Johnson. So this can come in the beginning, right? And for whom language must have a practical use, and this practicality is continued here. So after 5 you definitely have 1, right? So he found solace in compiling the words of a language. So 3, 5, 1, 2 is definitely one thing. What is left is 4. Of course, you can, there are two options. One is to keep it here, the other one is to keep it here. It would make hardly any sense if I keep it here. So if I use it in the beginning, it introduces the whole concept of how this person, Johnson, he started compiling a dictionary. The requirement of the dictionary was created, is emphasized in the 4th sentence. So keep it in the beginning. So I hope everybody understood so far. As I told you, these questions may not be that easy. Well, even if they're not that easy, there's a certain sequence which we have to follow, and it's all about finding out exactly the sequence which you're very sure about and build the remaining sentences around it. Hope it is all clear. Now let's try another type. The last 2 sentences we will look at summaries. When we say summaries, of course, we will look at something which covers as far as possible all the key points, right? The length is not important, the key points should be covered. And second, there should not be any extra thing, or there should not be any new thing introduced, right? It should be the same thing that is given in the passage. Let's see. So if you notice, the point is criminals are no more the same. They have evolved, they watch, and there's evidence that they're also changing their behavior. And starting from here, these are examples of the point. So bleach is something which is used by murderers to cover their tracks. It's an example of the point. And what you have in the last sentence is the extra difficulty that investigators have to take up to counter the steps taken up by criminals. So that is what is the case. So let's see what is the best answer here. What is the best answer? Look for the minutest of issues, eliminate answer options if required, and find the best one. Okay, what should be the Harish thinks the answer is 2. Let's see. Answer is, the best answer is 1. Harish, what is the problem in 2? Let's see. Criminals learn from television shows that bleach can destroy DNA. By the way, when we say bleach destroying DNA is only an example, it is about the focus should be on the point. The point is that they change their behavior, they learn, and the example is they use bleach. This is just an example. 2 focuses or gives more importance to the example than the point. So that way we can eliminate that. Now, what about the others? Right now, the problem of having the problem in 3 is this word because. Right. Okay. Harish. Okay. Safin is asking me, do these occur in SNAP and CMAT? Well, summaries might come in SNAP. CMAT, not very much, though you cannot, eliminate, though you cannot completely rule them out, but they can. Summaries, they have come in the past in SNAP, but as of now, they definitely come in CAT, primarily in CAT, right? So, Harish is thinking that the last part is additional, which I overlook, which is perfectly fine, right? So, the best answer is 1. Now, criminals are influenced by television shows, they change their behavior. The focus is on the point here, right? So this is what forces them to search for new kinds of evidence, right? And even in 4, the focus is, the focus is again on the example. It's the bleach destroying DNA is only an example. The point is that they learn, right? So that is something they learn and they change their behavior, which is there only in 1, right? I hope everybody got the point, right? Let's try the last question. This is the last one. This is slightly long. Well, let's see how it works out. Safin, yes, there would be lectures on RC, definitely. The only problem with RC is that in such a lecture, we can probably take one short RC. I mean, beyond that, it becomes a little bit tedious, but then we will definitely have such sessions later on. We will pick up actual questions, or as far as possible, we will pick up passages which are very similar to what actually comes in the exam, and we will discuss that. What is the best answer? Let's see. Okay, so Akhilesh thinks the answer is 3. Well, let's see. Well, if you look at it, the answer is, I think, this is more or less, this is not very difficult. I hope everybody is reading it. And though only one person has responded, I will wait for some more time and then we will quickly discuss the answer, right? Probably 10 seconds and then I will show you the answer. Okay, so Harish also thinks the answer is 3. Right, you are correct, right? If you notice, this 4 is not at all a summary. It is more like a commentary. Right, it is more like a commentary. It in fact introduces a parallel point. So 4 we can eliminate. Right, now if you look at 1, we can eliminate 1 because it does not dispense. Dispensing means it discards. It does not do away with the idea of uniformity. What it does is, it does not simply focus on uniformity. It looks at other things also. Right, so not merely for the sake of uniformity. So it is not just the sake of uniformity, other points are also included. So eliminated 4 and 1. What about eliminating 2? A simple way, now this is marriage law is something which is parallel. It's a parallel point, right? It does not even, does not cover the main uniform civil code. So the best answer here is 3. So this was the last question. With that, we come to the end of the session. I hope everybody understood. The idea was very simple. It was to introduce you to different types of questions which come in the exam, and thereby we try to improve our skills and fine tune our approaches to solving these questions. So stay tuned for such sessions. Definitely we will keep on discussing other types, right? So Harish, you are correct, right? In the previous question we eliminated 2 because common marriage law is something which we do not know about. It is not, in fact it may be a part of uniform civil code, but we are focusing not only on marriage laws but on the entire uniform civil code. 4 we eliminated. 1 we eliminated because it uses the word dispenses with, which means to discard. So with that we come to the end of the session. Have a very good night. I hope everybody understood. So that is it for today. Thank you everybody and have a nice day. Thank you.